So you guys might recall that Donald Trump had motioned for the Georgia Court of Appeals to get involved in his Georgia 2020 election case with Fannie Willis and her lover, special prosecutor Nathan Wade, who they were doing all sorts of work. Not on the case, but they were working really hard late at night, very late, long hours. Oh, yeah, putting lots of work into something, into something. And the Georgia Court of Appeals has now stayed the trial court proceedings in that election case involving Donald Trump and all of the others, which means I need a definition as well, because this legalese confuses me as well. So they've paused the trial. That's what that means. So this case will likely not be heard until after the election, is what legal experts are now saying. So I don't know. This literally, as of the time of this taping, this is literally just now coming out. Now they say that they are expected to rule on the disqualification sooner by March 2025. It's like, well, we got an election coming up in November of 2024. It would be, I would think, best case scenario for this to be punted until after the election for Donald Trump. What say you guys?
Okay, so is this a federal case?
No, because it's Fulton County.
So it's a state case.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about some of these cases that So that case, that's something he cannot do anything about. If they continue on with the trial after he becomes president, he's not going to be able to pardon himself from that if he's found guilty, which I have no faith in some of these, courts and judges and some of these juries. So, and also if he is found guilty in a case like that, his sentencing from this most recent conviction can get bumped up. Because let's say they give him house arrest or whatever, but it'll be like pursuant to him committing any other crimes. Well, if he's found guilty of another crime, like say this one in Georgia that happens after the election, then they can bump up his sentencing from this last New York case, maybe put him in jail, something like that. I don't know. There's just so much gray area and so many things that could happen, and I'm not putting it past some of these people because they really want to put him in jail bad.
Yeah. Who
knows what happens? But we've got a long 2, 3, 4 years of looking at this, doing a bunch of what ifs, what if this happens? I don't know. I'm not seeing any of this news as wins until it just goes away. I'm just saying, keep an eye on and follow these things closely because, I don't know, it could be 3 years before we find out if he actually gets thrown in jail.
Yeah, they
have a will.
They never sleep. They never end. And that's what I was saying about the movement with the Tea Party initially. Is it had a lot of great momentum. And then we just kind of took our foot off the gas. It's the same thing with J6 thing. The whole thing about J6 was actually to scare people into not getting involved and not participating and not being in the political sphere. And because
DOJ said as much. They called it shock and awe to freak these people out.
Yeah, it clearly is. I mean, they were locking people and everyone's like, meh. I don't know what it's going to take for people to actually say, hang on a second, this is very, 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 very important. Because, like I said, we get it all the time. You get it on social media, people go, well, I'm a conservative and I've got to work and I've got to put food on the table and I've got to look after my kids. I get that. But they're going to try and get your kids and they're going to try and take the food off your table. That's where the old days of thinking that we can just get by are gone. We've seen it with Trump. They're never going to stop. Are they going to try and put him in jail? Of course they are. That's if they do. By the way, what do you think is going to happen if this goes to court and he gets acquitted? They're going to start setting cities on fire. They know what's going on. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's going to be the other. They're never going to stop.
I hope they do that. I mean, not for the destruction, but like remind people who you are. Remind people who you are.
Sarah, it was 5 seconds ago. I don't know why we don't get this. Like they shut down the entire world, right? Well, and then there were the riots, and what, have we just forgotten it? Have we?
Yes, they have. I mean, have we? No, but the majority of people have. They have. But I mean, I can tell you why. I don't agree with it, but they're dealing with so much strife in their daily lives now because of Joe Biden's presidency, right? I mean, think about all of the other things that they're having to deal with right now.
Yeah.
Think about Lake and Riley's parents, and all of these other people who are having to deal with the illegal immigrant influx, who are having to deal with trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. I mean, we have all of these, articles coming down the pike that are like, people are blowing through their savings. People are maxing out their credit cards just to pay for groceries. You know what I mean? And so I don't think that it's necessarily that like they're callous and they don't care. I think that it's just their brain can't keep it all because they have to make room for all of the incoming problems that they have to freaking fix because this president has screwed this country up so much.
But that's the way the left operates, though. They'll try and get you distracted on something else. And we have to understand that we can do both. And I know people say, well, it's all right for you, but it's not. Like we were saying this the other day, like you have to get involved, even if it's a little thing. You have to do something. And look, what happened after the trial, right? When Trump was convicted, people started donating. That scared the living daylights out of the left. It terrified them. So we have the capacity to do something. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to drop everything and go and do. It means little things, organizing a little bit here maybe to get people out for the vote, or donating, or going to drag queen story hour on a weekend instead of having your barbecue, right? Because
not for fun.
No, I'm not saying you should go because hey, drag queen story hour. I want to go take my kids. No, we have to do something. You have to do just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so before we go to break here, I do want to play this. This is a very interesting, there are a couple pieces to this story that I want to get to. So a founding member of the Black Panthers voiced his support for Donald Trump in a TikTok interview this week. He was the chief of staff of the Black Panthers. His name is David Hilliard. And he said in this interview, that Trump is actually a friend to African Americans and a decent man who financially supported the organization. I want to play a clip of their conversation. Watch.
Trump?
Yes.
Trump's a friend of African Americans. And I knew Trump from the 1960s. In New York, where he comes from, and he's a friend to African Americans.
And now when you say a friend to African American, what do you mean by friend?
I mean he's not a racist. He's not a racist, fascist white man. He supported black people.
Your valued opinion. Why do you think they put all these charges on Trump, and they're afraid of him to be president?
Because Trump likes Africans in America. He likes black folks. That's one. I think that Trump is qualified and a very decent approach to having somebody representing America. Trump
I agree with you. And I think Trump would be able to get us off this government thing and get us to making our own money, because he knows how to make money. He knows how to lose money. And so he would be the perfect person to help us get our own again, right?
And Trump's a friend of African Americans. He's always been a friend of black people. That's how I know Trump.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And what is your name, sir?
My name is David Hilliard, founding member of the Black Panther Party.
Okay, so that came out, all right. And then very quickly, his grandson came out this morning saying that, listen, he suffers from cognitive issues and he doesn't like Trump. Don't believe him. It's just, he just has dementia, probably just like our current president. How long is this clip, Control? Hello? Okay, all right. We don't have time. Let's just play a little bit of it. Go ahead.
Hey, my name is Eric Jones, and this is my grandfather.
I'm David Hilliard.
All right. And my grandfather, David, is clearing up some of the air that Miss Carol Mitchell may have kind of stirred while she's misrepresenting some of his views on Donald Trump and
all she did was ask him questions.
34 guilty verdict accounts.
He didn't say anything about 34 guilty verdicts.
Anything that he spoke with her about Donald Trump was about in 1960, in which Donald Trump assisted the Black Panther Party. You can tell the story a little better than me.
Donald Trump was our realtor as such, and most of the properties that we lived in Harlem belonged to Donald Trump, and that's how our relationship
existed.
Came into existence.
And that is purely speaking
Put his head down.
in terms of the past.
It's like a hostage.
That is not a nod of support to any of today's political climate. And with Donald Trump,
All right, that's enough. Make your own decision. I'm just saying he didn't sound like he didn't sound like Joe Biden.
I thought Donald Trump had stopped black people from living in apartments in New York.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In the full video of the first interview, he didn't say that he just knew him because he owned the building. He says that Donald Trump gave money to the Black Panthers, which is not a good thing.
Right.
So it's, when I saw that, I was like, I would not have aired this interview.
Right.
Because there was that one thing that she said at the end, which I liked. But Hilliard is not a good guy. He was, I think it was in the 60s. He was convicted of, was it assault with a deadly weapon for a police officer ambush? He's not a good guy.
Well, I mean, member of the Black Panthers.
Right.
So.
Right. I know. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, do you not like Trump? Why are you airing this video?
Yeah.
This is not a good interview.
Well, it's just strange that we're living in a such a politically charged climate that he's saying I like Trump, and then his grandson's like, no, don't listen to him. He has cognitive abilities. When really it's like, wait, but we don't really want him to like Trump. Like it's like the Spider-Man meme where everyone is pointing at each other. He
has cognitive disability, but he goes, oh, you can explain this a whole lot better than I can.
Right.
You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Is he able to tell a story or is he not?
Right.
And was Donald Trump like not renting accommodation to black people, or was he?
Right.
Hang on a minute.
And also, Jason, it will force the left to, like, I mean, in their minds, the Black Panthers are fine, right? They are to be admired for the left. So what are they going to have to say about it? Because they can't say, hold on, this guy's a bad guy. He's a member of the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to say that. So what is going to be their response to that? I don't know. We'll see. This is another reason why we should just not have TikTok. TikTok should not exist. We get crap like this. We get the Chinese trying to like infiltrate and make all of our kids gay. And look, it's working. All right, that's all I have to say. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.